A new interpretation of near-death experiences, or if you want to call it clinical death experiences. I myself have had this experience in the spring of 2019. I'm not trying to shock you. I'm not just talking from book knowledge or off the top of my head. I call it clinical, accidental death, because many people have this experience through heart attack, gunshot wounds, etc. But can a person actually consciously die and come back? That is a big topic. Did you know that in the United States alone, over 20 million Americans have clinically died or have had near-death experiences and have been resuscitated? This number is much larger globally. Now, what do the current medical scientific research studies reveal about real clinical death or near-death experiences? I myself have had this experience in the spring of 2019. I'm not trying to shock you. I'm not just talking from book knowledge or off the top of my head. I'm actually talking from a real, actual process of dying in the hospital of Rush, Chicago. Now, and you wake up to a higher level of consciousness, or if you clinically die, and if you go far enough in the astral world, you discover that you have an increasement in awareness as well as in your sensual perception. They get enhanced many folds. What can trigger these experiences? Let me give you a list. Now I'm talking about the experience of nearly dying or having an out-of-body experience. You can have a heart attack. You can be shot by a gun, a stroke, and you can die in a hospital setting or on the streets or in your home. And then when the emergency people come out to revive you, they can revive you if they're successful.
In the spring, I believe, of 2019, when I was going to get a colonoscopy in the Rush Hospital in Chicago, my wife was being considerate. She requested a wheelchair, and as we were going up to the 4th floor to get this colonoscopy treatment, in which that doctor was on that floor, a strange thing happened. I asked her to go to the bank and give me some money. It created somewhat of an argument and led to some degree of some stress. Eventually she said, "No, you must get your colonoscopy treatment." And I said, "Why? I've been eating plant food all my life. There's no debris up in my you-know-what. It's clean, as pure as the snow." She laughed. So as we got up to that 4th floor, and as the argument persisted, I went back into my wheelchair and noiselessly and painlessly left my physical body. She thought I was still in my body. She kept talking and saying to me, "Why are you not talking?" I remained silent. Then she got panicky. She called for help. Nurses came, and there was one cardiologist on that floor. He came also.
Code blue. Code blue. Code blue.
And they cut off my beautiful jacket, which I was watching. Just like in the movie Ghost, you can't feel these people. They can't see you. You're invisible. Watch that movie and you'll understand what I'm saying. Also, as they cut off my beautiful, expensive jacket, I watched them. And then they put this defibrillator on my chest to see if there was a pulse or if I was breathing. I was laughing all the time. I said, these people don't know that dying can be smooth and painless and even enjoyable. My guru, listening to me, laughed at this time and said, "Come on, let's fly." So we went rapidly through the roof of the hospital. We went out to look at the sun. There was no heat that I experienced, even though the sun is extremely hot. We went to other planets. We went way out. We ended up going through a tunnel, through a black hole, and then a tunnel. My master chaperoned me. He was my beloved friend and teacher. He taught me how to concentrate my attention. Nay, let me say, with his grace and mercy, he chaperoned me, and we flew together like in an airplane at great speed, faster than the speed of light, and went into this wonderful and highly knowledgeable and loving region. And we ended up in the wonderful world of the astral plane. That world is extremely wonderful. As I said in the earlier talk, it's got huge planetary system. Everything is lit up. My body was full of a light color, almost gold, like the body of the master, full of a beautiful, brilliant gold color. And we communicated through telepathy. I would say something in my mind, and he could hear it, and the communication process took place. There was no possibility of deception there. People were extremely loving. They lived a long lifetime with memory of being there before they took birth in the earth region. When you take birth, it's a strange process because everything in that world, including the bodies and forms, are vibrating at a higher vibration. And when you take birth, the vibration slows down and you find yourself going through what looks like a hospital, but not a hospital. And you end up in a baby's body. Thank God the baby cannot talk nor remember. Otherwise, the baby will tell you everything that he or she experienced. And some of them have memory of specific events that took place in their life. Read Dr. Ian Stevenson. Everything has music in that world, including yourself. And the music is very addictive. In the beginning stages, a strange noise, which turned into an extremely melodious, harmonic, musical sound that are pulled into the astral plane, where you would meet scientists who had died earlier, who was busy working on projects there, in which they would take birth and come into this world and continue their work while they were here on earth. Reincarnation is real. It's not unreal. It's in the Bible. Don't think I'm just speaking like a fool. For all of the Christians out there, and most of you are Christian, go and look at your Bible. Look at the four Gospels, especially in the Gospel of John, in the 17th chapter. You look at the 11th verse through the 13th, where Jesus was informed and of a prophecy that says that the great prophet who lived many centuries before Jesus will take birth again and will do great work. So the disciples will be baffled by this prophecy. They said, Jesus, if you said this is true, why did John the Baptist took birth before you? Christ said, no, you're not correct. He came in a different body, even though his name was Elijah. But you did not recognize him. How could you? He was beheaded by the king. And likewise, the Son of Man, which some say I am this Messiah, also will die through crucifixion. As you move higher, and I move higher with my master, as I said already, into the causal world, where you feel like you can become one with everything, which is full of all kinds of what you call invisible form. Everything has a form, but yet these forms are invisible. They tend to merge into each other. There's only one creator of knowledge. That creator of knowledge controls the destiny of all other consciousness below itself, including that on earth. So, since I was lucky enough to receive this rare, important grace and love, my beloved teacher took me beyond that world, a world that I cannot use word to describe. All I can say is the experience is wonderful, enjoyable, full of love and bliss, and all I can say is all love, and more love. And as being there, we actually are one, even though the illusion of manyness exists there. Can a human being consciously control the process of dying while living and come back into his or her physical body while still alive? That's a very fascinating subject, and very few people, rare souls, have experienced this. There's a way to die without pain and to consciously control it. You don't have to have any trauma like the normal people have in this world, like gunshot wound, heart attacks, strokes, etc., or airplane crashes. You can die consciously through the regulation process of human attention and its concentration upon itself, right behind these two eyeballs in the head. When this happens, what happens to you? I'll tell you from experience what can happen to you. You'll experience, first of all, having a super memory of the age in which you
have had or have had in the astral body. Just like when you wake up from a dream in this world, your memory comes back suddenly as to how old you are in this world. And you also discover that your senses, the 5 senses that you have on this physical body, which are repressed now, get released. And when they get released into the astral body, you discover that you can see better. You can hear better. You can see huge distances. You can hear far places better than the bats who can hear in the physical world. These senses get multiplied and enhanced many folds.
Thank you for listening to my personal account with near death. The thing we call death is only the beginning. I know I am not the only one who has had this experience. Millions and millions, as a matter of fact, 20 million Americans have reported similar experiences. And if any of you are listening to me today and have heard such an experience, please share it in the comments with others.